And we are live. Hey everybody, it's Will Middleton from LifterLMS. I'll be live here answering pre-sales, getting started questions with LifterLMS for the next hour or so. If you catch us in the live stream, let us know where you're calling in from and let us know any questions you have about LifterLMS. No matter where you're streaming, we should see your comments come in here and I can highlight them on screen and talk through anything. I'm missing Kurt today. He's moving to Kansas, so he'll be a bit closer to where I'm at. He's moving from California to Kansas, so Kurt's out today, but he will be back next week. Let me see if I can get some music, and I'll start queuing up some comments from YouTube here in the background from the last week. But again, anyone, let us know where you're calling in from. We're answering questions about LifterLMS here for the next hour or so, getting started with WordPress. We can help point you in the right direction. So let me see what comments we've had since last week. Hi, Grace. Great to meet you. I'm currently in Atlanta. That's where I'm calling in from. Atlanta, Georgia, here at Airbnb, going from meeting to meeting. I'm super tired today, but that's where I'm calling in from. Feel free to let us know if you have any questions about LifterLMS. I'll pull up a screen share here in a second. I'm generating a site in the background that I can show on the call, and we can really dive into anything. Cool. Let me see, it doesn't, yeah, here's our first question. That's a pretty good one. So this is a question from YouTube here in the last week. The LifterLMS WooCommerce integration plugin is not free, right? Yep, that's correct. The LifterLMS WooCommerce extension, if I pull it up on our store, I'll share my screen, share this window. The WooCommerce extension is one of the add-ons here in our store. Currently, it's $120 a year, and it's included in the Earth bundle, and Universe and Infinity bundles all include the WooCommerce integration, but it is a paid add-on. So that allows you to say when somebody purchases a WooCommerce product, they're automatically enrolled into a LifterLMS course or membership. It allows for managing that flow automatically. Grace in the chat would love to know more about non-course applications that come in mind with LifterLMS. Kurt mentioned briefly when I met him. Absolutely. So the non-course applications would be like creating a membership site. I know I've created a lot of membership sites with Lifter that don't include courses at all, or even reframing what we mean by course. For example, one site I had worked on recently had ebooks and courses. So they were selling both ebooks and courses. So if we had like an ebook download, what we might do is remove the course information because we don't really need any of the traditional course elements, but we could have like a button that has a download. So download the ebook. And then this button block would be only visible to people who are enrolled in this course. So you have to be enrolled in the course to access this download button. And then basically we would add an access plan so people can buy the ebook. And then one-time payment will get them access to the course where they can then download the ebook. So it requires a little bit of fixing the user experience. On the WordPress dashboard or the LifterLMS dashboard, it says courses and memberships and stuff like that, but we could just change the word courses to ebooks and sell ebooks through the platform. You could also do a video library. If you wanted to do something in the same style where you used courses, create like a library, you could do that. We would embed a video in the page, possibly from Vimeo, and then do the same thing we did with the ebook, where we would make sure that this Vimeo block is only visible to enrolled users in this course. So you can make like a video library. So I've seen like a rent versus buy library created with LifterLMS for videos because they had an access plan that was, buy the course So it's a one-time payment of $100 maybe, or by the course, by the I don't know, video or library access, however you wanted to call it. And then we would have rent. That's another option. And the rent option might be a $10 one-time payment, but access expires after 14 days. That's an option there. So we could create a few different setups with Lifter outside of just courses and memberships. Yeah, so much more membership minded. Yeah, so the LifterLMS membership system is pretty robust. We work closely with Paid Memberships Pro, which is a different membership software, which is also excellent. But LifterLMS's system just out of the box is pretty robust with memberships and what they can do. Basically restricting access to pages, posts, or any custom post type you create. You could restrict to a membership and then create some kind of like a backend portal. The interactions with a video page can be limited timing. Yeah, so if we were to do and I guess it wouldn't matter if you do course or membership with the video library example. So we could do video 1, the video is embedded on the page. And then this block would only be visible to enrolled users in this course. And so the temporary access comes in right here. So we can do access expiration. So it might be $15 for 14 days. 14 days. I put the price in the wrong place. $15, 14 days. So they would lose access to the course after 14 days. They could buy again and get access again, but they would have to renew the $15 to get another 14 days of access. And we could leave the pricing table on there. And you could even do like a preview. So you could say, if it's a video library, this block is visible to enrolled users, but we could have another block that's only visible to non-enrolled users. So this would be non-enrolled users. And probably what I would do here is the preview. And then this is visible non-enrolled users. And then here, whatever you want to call it. I've seen some like advanced tutorials and all kinds of things sold in this method. So we would just publish and then view the membership. And so why is my text not working? So non-enrolled users or visitors. And I should be in this membership. Non-enrolled users in this membership. It's important to be specific on the display roles. So I'm not enrolled, so I should only see the preview one. I don't know why I'm still seeing the other one, but basically it's that concept I could keep troubleshooting as to why that's. Oh, I see. I have, this is another test website I had been working on, and I think I have a full site, private site, LifterLMS private site active on here. Let me turn that off. But yeah, so LifterLMS can create all kinds of cool membership ideas. With the visibility settings, you can really go outside of the bounds of courses and stuff like that. I've heard people have interest in creating like quiz libraries or like survey tools, and LifterLMS doesn't go that far in that direction. It's primarily for like the course and content-based stuff. So there are some more sophisticated quiz systems like React Quiz Builder, H5P. There are some really more robust systems you could integrate if you wanted to take quizzes to the next level. Kicks off a couple great potential ideas. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining the call, Grace. Feel free to hang out, ask any other questions. I'm going to keep going through our Facebook thread and YouTube channel from the last week and diving into some more questions. Anyone who's just hopping on, thanks for joining. It's Will Middleton from LifterLMS here for the next hour, just answering questions about LifterLMS. I'm super tired today. This week has been filled with meetings coming back from WordCamp US, and just getting into a new LifterLMS work cycle. So let me jump over to Facebook and see what we have. We have a new LifterLMS expert. That's another program that not a lot of people know about, is the LifterLMS experts page. This is a great place to go if you're looking for help in the technical department with just coaching for creating your LMS website, or even people you can hire to build out your site for you. And then you could just enter the content. So there's all kinds of services on here regarding instructional design is another service people help out with here, which is just designing your course content based on your expertise, all kinds of good stuff. Is the email follow-up, email marketing a separate plugin, or does LifterLMS have some sort of onboarding? LifterLMS does have onboarding options inside of the product itself. It's like a lightweight CRM. So if you went with something like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit, there are more sophisticated like email tools where you can send broadcast emails to users, even like Groundhog or Fluent CRM. Ones that go inside the backend of WordPress are like email marketing tools. LifterLMS has the engagement system where we can design emails. So we could say, welcome to the course. We could design an entire message. It goes to the student email, and I can publish this. And then go to engagements, add engagement. Welcome the student. When a student enrolls in a course, when they enroll in my Quick Start course, send them an email. And we could even wait 2 days if I wanted to wait. So it's a really basic system. It doesn't allow for any intake of emails. It doesn't allow for, like there's no inbox management. There's just like email triggers that are sent out. There's no broadcast functionality. It's just kind of, if a student were to pass a quiz, fail a quiz, open a lesson, that kind of stuff, we can trigger certain events to happen. So that is the trigger system here in the LifterLMS engagements. So it's a very lightweight CRM style setup. Will, you are the best. Thank you. Seraphin, great to see you on here. We watch so many videos. We have a question. We don't want our users to have mark as complete on each lesson. Is it possible to programmatically trigger it after a few seconds, or just remove the button so users would be able to pick up wherever they left off? That's a good question. I don't know if I've heard that question before, so I'd have to think through what we would set up here. If I had my LifterLMS Quick Start course and I didn't want people to feel the need to mark these as complete, what I would do is just remove the mark complete button entirely. I would also recommend removing the progress bar from your course, so there's no progress bar. It would be almost like creating a library of resources instead of a course. So I think removing the mark complete button would be fine. There's not a way to programmatically mark it as complete, I don't believe. And if there's no requirement that you're trying to make to view who's completed the course, then it wouldn't be a problem. I don't know if tools like Automator, WP, LifterLMS, if they have a trigger for student opens a lesson, because I don't think there's a way to automatically complete it. Yeah, there's no way to automatically say when a student completes a lesson, let's mark it as complete. So just removing it, the progress entirely, would be what I would do there. Right, yeah, they can't pick up a course if no progress is being tracked. I was thinking of just triggering JavaScript snippet and then click the button automatically after 1 minute on the page. Yeah, you could do something like that. If you're going to get into like custom JavaScript development, that's definitely possible to report that the lesson was completed. after a triggering event of your choice. That would be a smart way to go about it. Kurt is joining us in the comments. I got to send you some chocolate covered espresso beans. Yeah. That some caffeine. It's like, I don't even know what time it is. It's like 2 p.m. I've been in Georgia now for just about a week, and man, time moves much more slowly down here. There's Grace. So it does handshake with HubSpot though. LifterLMS doesn't have a direct HubSpot integration. LifterLMS and HubSpot would be like WP Fusion. So WP Fusion is a third-party tool. LifterLMS connects to MailChimp and ConvertKit out of the box. With the Universe bundle has the integrations for MailChimp, the integration from ConvertKit that our developers built. But LifterLMS does not have a direct integration with HubSpot. So that's where I think HubSpot, you would use a tool like WP Fusion. This is a plugin that would go on the back end of your website, and it would send the data to HubSpot when a user completes a lesson, completes a course, enrolls in a course. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of support for the HubSpot integration so far. So WP Fusion would be the way to go with that one. Or LifterLMS does have a Zapier setup. I don't know if it can currently pass emails. I submitted a bug like back in 2019 or 2020 about the issue where like it couldn't submit emails through Zapier. So I don't know if the Zapier setup would work to send that data to HubSpot, unfortunately. But WP Fusion is probably the most solid way to do it. And Jack Arturo, the creator of WP Fusion, is awesome. So he's a really smart guy, and the tool reflects that. I've heard your team mention Groundhog a bunch. Would that be an option for a CRM? Absolutely. So Groundhog is another CRM that does work with LifterLMS. Groundhog actually developed this integration, and Fluent CRM is the same. LifterLMS. I believe Fluent CRM is another, one that has an integration with Lifter. So both Groundhog and Fluent CRM are plugins that go on the backend of your WordPress website that allow you to manage your email out of the backend of WordPress. So instead of logging into HubSpot or ActiveCampaign, you would just do it from the backend of your WordPress website. You would also have to set up cron jobs, which help with timing broadcast emails and things like that. And so usually contacting your web host and saying, hey, I'm basically running a CRM in my WordPress website. Can we configure cron jobs to work in a certain way? And also an SMTP solution like Groundhog has Mailhawk. And basically, Mailhawk delivers the emails through their server instead of your server, because oftentimes website hosts aren't configured to send emails well. So there are some considerations when taking the CRM into the backend of your WordPress website as to like, we're going to need cron to be set up, and we're going to need an SMTP solution or an email sending service if we're going to do it out of the backend of WordPress. Services like HubSpot and ActiveCampaign have those built into their platform already, so you don't usually need to worry about it with those tools. Kurt in chat, HubSpot users get confused because HubSpot was a WordPress integration to make HubSpot work in the backend. Okay, yeah. So if there's a HubSpot integration with WordPress, I haven't seen that one. WordPress plugin. Okay, so yeah, here you could put this plugin on the backend of your website to create a contact form that, or even looks like manage your contacts in the backend of WordPress. That's pretty cool, but it doesn't integrate directly with Lifter, unfortunately, without WP Fusion. HubSpot to WooCommerce. Yeah, HubSpot to WooCommerce. I think that would be a market share thing. If HubSpot, decided to build a product to integrate with WooCommerce, it's probably because, there's probably a lot more WooCommerce sites than Lifter sites. I think they might have like 1 million installs or something like that. And we're at about 10 to 12,000. So once we hit like a significant market share, HubSpot will be like, yes, we're excited to code an integration with Lifter. But currently WP Fusion is a nice tool for like small plugin companies to connect to larger companies like HubSpot and hosting companies and stuff like that in a more impactful way. So love the WP Fusion tool. Even though HubSpot is working in the backend, WordPress is not tied to any actions on Lifter, so you would need the REST API and some custom development or some other tool to connect it. So if you are working with HubSpot and WooCommerce, you could say the LifterLMS WooCommerce extension and say when somebody purchases the WooCommerce product, tell HubSpot, and then the LifterLMS WooCommerce extension will also see the purchase and say when someone purchases the WooCommerce product, enroll them in a Lifter course. So that would work. If you're using WooCommerce, you could do HubSpot plus WooCommerce and Lifter plus WooCommerce, and then they would be in sync a little bit on purchase. It would be out of sync because HubSpot wouldn't know when they completed the course in Lifter, since it's not directly to Lifter, but you could create some customer segments after they purchase and have your pre-purchase email list as well. Seraphin in chat, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. We bought the groups add-on. Is there an easy recommended way for people to register to a specific group or as a group leader? I was wondering if we can have a registration page and could pass the role depending on the form. Those roles like group leader don't work with the default WordPress user roles. So unfortunately, it wouldn't be possible to have like a Gravity form setup that does that. I don't even know in the LMS REST API. I don't know in the API reference if there's support for groups. There might be. Okay, yeah, groups. Scroll over. Okay, yeah, so group member properties. So yeah, there might be a solution here with the REST API to create a user with a, yeah, that's probably a pretty good way to do it with the REST API. So it wouldn't be a feature of Lifter groups out of the box, but with the REST API, you could, say when this form is submitted, take the data that this form has in the fields and then format it into an API request to add them as a group leader. But it would require a little bit of custom code with the API, but it looks like it's supported for passing the role dependent on what you get from your Gravity form or WP form or Ninja form, whatever form tool you want, or WS form, another great form tool. Shout out to Mark Westgard. But yeah, so it looks like it would be possible, just a little bit of custom code with the REST API from Lifter. And so the REST API, something I'm super excited about. It came out a few years ago, but it opens up a lot of possibility and makes it easier to develop third-party integrations with LifterLMS. So if you're an agency, freelance developer, or custom developer on the call who's interested in offering LifterLMS services, that API really shows what you can do to integrate it into any platform you want, and basically how to format your API calls to Lifter. So there's a REST API tab in the LifterLMS settings, and we can create an API key. And then this API key can have certain permissions, and then your custom application can use that API to do various things in the backend of your website. Thanks, I've never used LifterLMS in the REST API and WordPress Actions. Do you do the API calls from the add-on or the JavaScript snippet? WordPress Actions. I haven't used WordPress Actions. I've just used it with custom developed software. So like my third-party software was sending data to a LifterLMS website. I wasn't really doing it with custom code inside of WordPress. But yeah, so I'm pretty new to the API myself, but is that like a plugin, the WordPress Actions? I think I would just use it like in my development of a third-party thing. So you'd basically be writing a plugin that's separate from Lifter that would make an API request to put somebody in a group with a certain role and create them as a user. Very helpful. Oh yeah, custom plugin is what I usually would do. Super nice way to do it. Cool. Well, let me jump over back to the Facebook group and see what other questions we have. Oh yeah, there we go. So custom development with an API and custom development with just modifying the backend of what LifterLMS looks like are kind of two different processes. And one new LifterLMS expert I saw, Farouk, I met with him today on a call and posted in the Facebook group about it. New LifterLMS expert that does custom development at a pretty good hourly rate there, $50 an hour, and he's out of Pakistan, so he's a really experienced developer. And the pictures, I guess this is the front end of the website. I don't have the screenshots that he sent as a part of the application, but he had some screenshots of where he had customized the back end of this course builder in Lifter. In the quiz builder, there are certain settings here in the panel, and Farouk had customized what this panel looks like, added a few more options for a custom quiz builder. So that was a cool way to kind of customize it. It's nice to see new developers in the LifterLMS WordPress community building out support for extending the platform and creating third-party integrations with the tool. And the LifterLMS code, I've heard, is relatively easy to work with relative to some other LMS projects. So if you're going to get into custom development land, that's another reason LifterLMS is a good solution, is the code is a bit easier to work with the extensive REST API and the hooks and filters and actions that developers are going to need to modify how LifterLMS works are available in the code, which is something I'm growing to appreciate more as I learn more about development, is how accessible the code is. And it's annotated with comments, which is nice. Does editing, hacking the admin dash stuff nullify help from Lifter? Nothing sinister, just additional columns and such. Editing, hacking. Oh yeah, okay. Hacking the WordPress admin dashboard. So I'm assuming the question you're asking there is about like, do you violate the warranty by customizing Lifter? Like with a car, if you were to customize a car, it violates the warranty and the mechanics won't work on it. It would make it harder for our support to be able to diagnose what's going on. So if you're capable enough in the back end of WordPress to modify it, you could also join our developer Slack community and ask questions about like hooks and filters that are available for what you're trying to do. But like, I mean, our support team will help kind of as much as we can, but if it's modified too much, we might not even know what's going on. Like there was a front-end course builder with LifterLMS add-on that was in development from one of our LMS experts for a while. That project, I don't think ever came to fruition because there's a challenge with associating quizzes and sections and lessons with a course. So there was a challenge with how to structure that. So the front-end course builder project fell apart there. And so there's some things like that we wouldn't be able to help out as much with if you're trying to build like a custom course builder that feeds the content into Lifter. That's a bit more challenging in the back end of WordPress. But we can help out with basic questions, and if you can modify the back end of WordPress, you probably can ask questions that are easy enough for our developers to answer in the developer Slack channel for them to help point you in the right direction on where you could find something that you're trying to maybe pull from LifterLMS, like the course list. Yeah, I hope I understood that question. Well, editing access displays in progress to limit the client. Oh yeah, the display of progress. So yeah, I've used plugins before in the back end of WordPress to like modify what users can have access to, where you can, there's a couple of free plugins that modify what that looks like. I don't know if the plugin search is going to give me some good examples, but so you basically create like a custom user role, or select that this user does not have access to any LMS items, or they have access to the courses, but they don't have access to the orders. You can change what people have access to. And there's a few different ways to do it. Publish press is one of them. This one might be a little bit more complicated. My recommendation with those setups usually is to a white labeling the dashboard app. Is to use a white label dashboard setup, because the white label dashboard setups don't fundamentally mess with user privileges as much as they just change what the users have access to within the interface. So they might be an admin of the website, but they don't know how to access the plugins.php area, or it might block them if they try to access that URL. But fundamentally changing the permissions of the WordPress users gets into some complicated territory. Me and Kurt have learned that on previous live streams where we're trying to help people customize WordPress user permissions, and it kind of messes things up. So now, as a solution to that use case, I like to use white label WordPress solutions rather than customizing the user roles. So I think white labeling the backend would be all good. We even have a product in our store, white label LifterLMS. Let me keep my white label LMS Pro. Rebrand LifterLMS Pro. That's what it's called. And so this is a white label solution created by a third party in the WordPress ecosystem. They have a lot of clean products. So instead of the backend that you see here, LifterLMS settings, you see it's got the blue, it's got the LifterLMS logo and stuff like that. You could put your own logo and change the color scheme. It's a popular tool. It is a premium tool. I don't know how much it costs. They sell a few packages. Monthly license unlimited sites. Nice. So they have a couple different licenses. This is a company that builds a lot of interesting products for Lifter, or for WordPress. I go to the front end of their website. One that I like is Admin UI Pro. I've only used this one once, but it was a really interesting way to make the WordPress dashboard look a bit different. It's still the WordPress dashboard, but I've heard a lot of people don't like the look of, the sidebar. Looks kind of 2005 like, so they would install something like this and be perfectly happy. We have a lot of customers ask for a front-end course builder solution, and this is also my recommendation for a front-end course builder solution, is to say, don't use the front end or try to create a headless setup. Just use this to make the back end of WordPress look more in line with the way you want it to look. So white label solution, but there's other white label solutions as well that are available for WordPress. That one just integrates nicely with Lifter. Let's see. We did have a question here in the Facebook group. I don't know if this question is going to be too long to put in chat. No, it should be fine. Oh, broken up into 3 comments. Who can help me integrate Lifter and Shopify? I want to sell Shopify and have a course purchases automatically enroll in Lifter. There's an article that says there's a Lifter Shopify plugin, but I can't find it anywhere, so I'm guessing Zapier is the only way. Please don't ask me why we're using Shopify. I'm selling other things in the store and need to finish up the integrations. Yeah, so selling Lifter and Shopify. I don't know about any LifterLMS Shopify integration. I don't know if that's a thing. Shopify and LifterLMS. So let's try to find a website that contains the words LifterLMS and Shopify. I don't know what this is. I've never seen this one before. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this company, but integrate LifterLMS API with Shopify API. So it looks like this is the only article that surfaces about LifterLMS and Shopify. It was published July 5th. So maybe there's a new integration out there, or maybe this is AI generated. I don't know. But install the LifterLMS Shopify plugin in your Shopify store dashboard. Okay, cool. So this is a Shopify extension. So it looks like if there is a solution out there that this would be a plugin for Shopify, just like LifterLMS is a plugin for WordPress, Shopify also has a plugin store. So interesting. Yeah, so I haven't even been to Shopify's dashboard. I don't see anything for LifterLMS in the Shopify App Store. But yeah, this would be probably what I would check out as to what that would be for LifterLMS integration. Also, WP Fusion, like we talked about earlier, would be a good one. With this setup, you would have Shopify interact with your CRM. So if we chose ActiveCampaign as our CRM, ActiveCampaign has an integration with Shopify, and then WP Fusion can say whenever somebody gets a tag in your CRM, you can link, here it is, link the tag with auto enrollment. So you can give them a tag in ActiveCampaign, and then WP Fusion will tell the LifterLMS website that this user got a tag in ActiveCampaign and enroll them into the course or membership automatically. So it's like Shopify purchase tells ActiveCampaign via WP Fusion tells Lifter to enroll them in a course. So that's another way to create a similar setup. Or even the REST API. We talked about custom development earlier. The REST API can have a plugin developed that will say, when this API call is accessed, let's create that user in WordPress and enroll them in a course, create an enrollment. We can do that with the REST API. So custom development, WP Fusion, or check out that article. I don't know if that's even a real article, the one we found. If it's valid, I haven't explored that too much. Let's see. So, Shine Training. Hi, Will. Can you recommend any good options for selling live event tickets alongside online courses? Yeah. So, the events ticket plugin is one that I've used on a site yesterday, actually. And what this user was doing is they had a WooCommerce setup that was enrolling their courses into Lifter. And then also this integrates nicely with WooCommerce. So they did a WooCommerce setup in that way. Acuity scheduling is another one that's really good. Acuity scheduling. But I actually think I did a video about that a long time ago. Or no, it's not Acuity scheduling, it's Simply Schedule Appointments. Sorry. Simply Schedule Appointments is the one I'm thinking of. Simply Schedule Appointments is a WordPress plugin that allows you to like have customers buy bookings, and also integrates nicely with Lifter. It I don't know if it allows, I think it allows booking with people who are enrolled in certain courses and memberships. I haven't looked at this one in a long time, but I remember making Simply Schedule Appointments content a long time ago. Nathan Tyler, the creator of these, this is a great booking solution. So WooCommerce is nice because WooCommerce allows you to integrate with like VAT. You can have a cart system in WooCommerce. You could have integration with like QuickBooks and software like that. Super nice. But then Acuity scheduling is a little bit more of a simpler route where you could use LifterLMS and Acuity scheduling no need for WooCommerce, no need for anything else, because Acuity Scheduling has its own payment gateway, and LifterLMS has its own payment gateway. So you could have your LifterLMS Stripe integration going and your Acuity Scheduling Stripe integration going, and they're using the same API keys to funnel to the same Stripe account. And then you would integrate your Stripe account with your accounting software. Instead of doing WooCommerce, you would go direct to the payment provider. So LifterLMS, Acuity Scheduling, and Stripe is all you need for a live event ticket alongside online courses. And the nice thing about Acuity Scheduling too is that it also integrates nicely with like Zoom. It's a lot like Calendly, like the pro version of Calendly, where you can have people buy meetings and book on your calendar. Yeah, so I'd recommend that. Let me put that in chat. So I'll put that here. YouTube. Acuity Scheduling, and for anyone on the call, you can use LifterLMS Live as a coupon code for purchasing any products with Lifter. Products or bundles, 15% off any of that, if you want to note that one down. Let's see, so this is a good question, common question that comes up. One of my students says they can't log in. Has anyone had this before, and how did you resolve it? I have logged her out, changed the password, and do not know what else I can do. So like when a user is reporting login issues, the first thing I recommend doing is installing the user switching plugin and make sure that there's no issues with their role or anything on the website. So this is once they are logged in, what they'll see. Make sure everything's good with their account. User switching is a super nice plugin that allows you to go to your users area. And if we were to create a new user, if I assumed I have a new user on my website, I can switch to that user. And so it'll give me an insight into what their interface looks like. So that's a really nice plugin that allows you to troubleshoot user issues. If the user is having an issue with logging in the first place, that's where you'd want to test if it's a device issue, if it's related to logging in on desktop versus logging in on mobile, if it's probably a caching issue. And so the device check, like if you were to go to a different device, access the website and check, that would indicate that it's probably being cached on your device. So when someone goes to the sales page for a course and they purchase the course, and then they're enrolled and they should be able to start the course, but the caching, if the website had been cached on their local machine, then they would see the sales page content again because the website wouldn't know that they've enrolled. So it's important to remove caching items or make sure that there's a lot of mindfulness around caching on a LifterLMS website or a WooCommerce website, because the website changes how it behaves based on whether the user's logged in or whether the user's logged out. Just like earlier, we were looking at a video library setup, and the video library had the enrollment. So certain blocks will display if the user's enrolled or unenrolled. So we don't want caching to be messing with speeding up our website. Caching does speed up a website because if you can store the content locally, or just store versions of the content without having to call the database every time a web page is loaded, then it's going to be delivered to the end user faster. But if they were to purchase, we need to go contact the database again and say, hey, this is the user enrolled in the course. They are enrolled in the course, so we need to go talk to the database directly instead of getting something from a caching layer. So I think the probably caching issue on either the host end or the user's end. Send the student a new PC and get them an internet service provider. Yeah. So if their device is aggressively caching things in your Google Chrome settings, you can change how your browser or Safari settings or Firefox, whatever you use, you can change the settings for how your browser interacts with websites. So it might be an issue on their end where they need to clear their caching cookies. It could also be an issue with the host end, where the host is caching a version of your page, or even a CDN, content delivery network, is often a culprit in those situations. Kurt's obviously doing just fine in the moving. I love Kurt joining live, offering advice in the chat. Let us know where you're at, Kurt. Are you already in Kansas? Are you still making the move, going back and forth? We got about 13 minutes left. And I'll respond. Oops, I closed my Facebook tab. Let me see if I can find another question here in the Facebook group. I closed the tab, so I'm gonna have to scroll down again. New LifterLMS experts, and Jenny Jacobs. You can find her on our LifterLMS Enroll Summit. She's a great instructional designer, and she posted a response here on Facebook to the login question about, I have this happen all the time, usually because they're typing something wrong. I open an incognito and try it as them to ensure there's not something wrong with the system, and it never is. Yeah, that's another good thing to do, is to reset the user's password and then go in on your computer to log in an incognito window or a different browser to see if it's a system issue or if it's an issue on their end. And so once you can isolate that you can log in with their credentials, then it's an issue on their end. So we need to figure out what probably caching is solving it, or is causing it. Shine Training, can you recommend a run through a purchase order solution so that a business can be invoiced once payment get access? Yeah, no problem. So with an invoice system, I've done this before in LifterLMS, where there's like private coaching. And what we would usually do is create a membership. At least what I've done is I would create a membership. This would be like private membership for purchase orders. I'll purchase correctly. This would be not visible in the catalog and search. The interface is a little bit scrunched there. So it's hidden, catalog and search. This is my membership. It doesn't really matter what's on this page, because what we'll do is say sales page content will redirect people to the home page if they happen to view the membership. So we could say, or even just do some custom content. This is a private membership for purchase orders. Nothing to see here. And so this would make it, if a visitor were to view the membership, so this is what it looks like as a website admin, but if a visitor views it, they would get that message. And my mouse is acting, there it goes. So yeah, and then what we would do now that we have the membership is we would create an access plan. So this would be invoice for Will. And this would be an invoice of $140, one-time payment. And so if you're doing a LifterLMS group setup, you would receive this payment as an order and an enrollment into the membership, but then you could, whatever you wanted to do, you could delete the order, you could archive it, delete the access plan. Usually what I would do is just leave the orders in the system, and then I would delete the access plan and create a new access plan for the next invoice. So this would be invoice for company X. And then we can just set the price, and then we get the purchase link for the invoice, and then we would send it out to them. Let's jump around on me as it updates. Copy the link, and we would just send them this direct purchase link where they would come fill out the order summary. And that's a nice way to have a purchase order system. You might have meant for corporate standpoint with purchase orders, in which we would use the manual gateway and probably vouchers. Yeah, so if you have a sale to a group, so if you have like one company, one employer buying for 10 employees and you're using LifterLMS groups, you could do the purchase order setup I described below. And then once they fill out that payment, you would email them a set of vouchers. Or you could do the manual gateway if you wanted them to send you a check or a direct payment or something outside of the 2.9 plus 3% or plus 30 cents transaction fee on like Stripe or PayPal, you want to do a check or something like that, then you could do the manual order system in Lifter, where they would place an order. We would do checkout, manual, and this would say at checkout, I think this is the one I have set up now. So they would fill out the purchase order there, fulfill the purchase order, and then get access to the course. So this is a paid plan. So if this was my purchase order, they would fill out their information. They would be paying manually via check. And then the order status would be, I believe it's on hold or pending. Let me look that up. LifterLMS order status. So it would be pending, okay. So yeah, this would be a pending order. The order was created, but no payments have been processed. And then you as the website administrator would say the payment has been completed and it would enroll them in the course. So there's a few different ways to approach purchase orders. And then the website admin would create a group, add 10 seats to the group, assign the group leader, and then the group leader would get the invite link and they could sign their students up to the website. So getting multiple people enrolled is definitely possible with LifterLMS, and a few different ways to get there with purchase orders. Cool, we got about 7 minutes left. Keep going through Facebook. So this is a good question. Help needed. I have 15 courses, and when you visit them, you get a URL. I would like to offer a simple URL. Let me put this here in the chat. The question, 15 courses and you visit them, you get a URL. So it's like yourwebsite.com/course/ name of the course. I'd like to offer a free course with a simple URL, like yoursite.com/ just a word. So that's like a page. We'll be very grateful if someone can tell me how to do that. There's not really a way to have a course page display without being on the URL /course/ name of course. It's part of how the WordPress template hierarchy works, and it figures out what content it's going to display on that page. Sometimes that kind of issue can come up if you have a blog post and the URL of the blog post is /celebration, and you have a page that's also /celebration. I think it's going to default to the blog post. I think the blog post is higher in the template hierarchy. So if the permalink is the same, it will default to a post. I'd have to look at the template hierarchy to confirm that, but that's why that /course is so important in the permalink structure, is so that the template hierarchy knows what PHP template to load on that page. Go to Bitly. Yeah, you can do a Bitly link. I think they wanted like a nice link on their website. I think pretty links is another option. So pretty links is a good option, because what that does, it's a free plugin that lets you go to the back end of your website and create like a Bitly setup. So I could say, install the free plugin, activate the link, or activate the plugin. Welcome to Pretty Links. Yep. So it gives you a new option here on the WordPress dashboard. Say Pretty Links, add new. And so for your course, this would be course link. Created new. Target URL would be /course/ quick start. Let me actually do a real example. So we'll get the URL of my course, my quick start course. It's going to be long. Yeah, so it's pretty long. That's the URL for that. And then my pretty link would be celebration, whatever they want it to be, then we'll update. And so then if I were to copy my link in my clipboard, my URL, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see my browser tab? Yeah, my browser tab all the way at the top. It says mysite.com/celebration. So that's a way you could do it. And then when people visit that URL, it will redirect them. The redirection is a good idea for that. Kurt says use Bentley to convert the long URL to a short URL, and the short URL marketing, it'll redirect to a longer URL. So if they want to route URL, they have a redirection plugin. Yeah, so the redirection plugins like Pretty Links or redirection would be a good idea. From Richard Del Connor, I remember Richard from calls over a year ago. I'm building a Kung Fu school and need people to graduate one belt rank to enroll into another belt rank. How do I create stipulations automatically when they pay for a program they're not ready for? I think that's a good question. The best way to do that would probably be course prerequisites with course tracks. But let me see if the block visibility might be another option. LifterLMS. Yeah, so this isn't an option probably. My recommended path for that kind of setup would be LifterLMS tracks. So if I go to tracks, we could say, so we're going to create a course track for white belt. This website, it would be funny to create a LifterLMS website with a lot of different content material. Like this website has stuff on it probably about cooking, getting started with LifterLMS. Now we have the white belt program. Like there's a lot of melting pot LMS stuff going on. So we have the white belt course track created. And what we would do is we would put a few courses in that track. We'll put the video library course. I'll change the name, Quick Start course. So these are the two courses that are going to be a part of my course track. So I'm going to go to tracks. This is in the white belt track. And then you also need to complete the Quick Start course as a part of that track. Let's see. Here you white belt track. Let it finish updating real quick. There we go. So we can see both of my courses are part of the white belt track. And now if I were to create a third course, so this is the gold belt or gold belt course. So in order to get into this course, you would need to complete a prerequisite course track. So you need to complete the white belt course track in order to be able to start the gold belt course. So this way, before they're even allowed to buy the course, they would have to complete that prerequisite course. So if I were to publish this, and this is a matter of like organizing things in the back end of WordPress, because we would have our course tracks for the gold belt course track, and then green, purple, whatever belts you have, you would create a track for each one. So this would be gold belt. So hopefully we should see, if we view the course after it finishes updating. Viewing as a visitor. Yeah, so before starting this course, you must complete the prerequisite track white belt. So it's going to stop me from being able to even buy this course because I need to complete the white belt track first. So that's a really good way to have the ranks of like different years in college, different belts in a martial art. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining me live. I'll wrap it up now. We're 1 minute over the hour. My name is Will Middleton from LifterLMS. Thanks everyone who joined in the comments and asked any questions live, and everyone watching the replay. Let us know any questions or comments you have in the comment section of wherever you're watching, and we'll see them next time we go live. Have a good weekend. Signing out for today.